hopefully it won't take too long. I'll quickly check the Discord first. Look, race live streams. Scroll. Civic Tier 1, that's it there. So the stream's up, chat's up. Just check if the audio is working. And the audio is working as it should, so fantastic. Everything is operating perfectly. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 4 of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 Championship. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit for the British Grand Prix. This former RAF airfield, used during the Second World War, over a 70-year plus span, has turned itself into one of the most prestigious and well-recognised racing facilities in the world. The layout has changed quite significantly over its lifetime, but its reputation of being one of the great challenges on any motorsport calendar hasn't. The current 5.89 kilometre 18-turn layout has 2 major overtaking spots with the help of DRS down the Wellington and Hanger Straights that lead into Brooklands Turn 6, where these two gentlemen are heading towards to now, and Stowe's Turn 15. Both are quite high-speed sweepers, as you saw there, so when overtaking here, there's a very fine margin for error. We might also see some battling into the Turn 3 hairpin of Village and Turn 4's the Loop, as well as the chicane of Vale, Turn 16 and 17. The great challenge, though, lies within the middle sector. These two are going through right now. After Turn 7 Bluckfield, drivers will be subjected to a set of near flat-out bends, all one after the other. Cox, Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel. All of these corners have written themselves into the history books as places of skill, action and drama. A mistake through this all-time classic section of the racetrack could prove to be incredibly costly and potentially race-changing, as safety cars are not rare here. In summary, Silverstone might be a circuit we all know, but it's not one to be driven easily or without respect. So let's see if the drivers are up to the challenge tonight. Now, before we focus on this qualifying session unfolding in front of us, there's a bit of news to go through first from last week's race at Montreal. Quite a bit of news, actually. It was quite a dramatic race last week in Canada, and as a result there were quite a few stewards' reports. I'll go through them now. There was an incident involving Plebs and Spilly that we saw on stream. It was quite a brutal bit of contact between the two, and as a result Spilly was given a 10-second time penalty and 1 penalty point for causing a collision, and as a result Spilly would drop down from P3 to P8 in the final results. Will tried to get a 3-second time penalty removed, but the steward said no, so he keeps that 3-second time penalty. I still believe he finishes in second place. There was a collision involving Leo and Gilles, and as a result Leo was given a 5-second time penalty and Gilles received 10 seconds. As a result, Leo will drop down from P10 to P12 and Gilles will go from P13 to P15, the final finisher of that race. There was a incident between Reaper and Zach. Zach's here tonight. Is Reaper? Yes, Grim Reaper's there in the Ferrari. But that resulted in no further action. And then probably the most bizarre report I've seen from the stewards to date, involving CBF Rude, Scotty, Spilly, Gilles and Leo. And it was on the opening lap, and we didn't catch it properly. It was on the very opening lap, and Rude, what I did notice, was out of the race on the very first lap. But poor fella got wing damage on the during the first couple of corners. He was fairly slow in the opening sector, and as a result he and a few other drivers got into a bit of a scuffle. One thing led to another down the back straightaway before turn 8. It ultimately resulted in Ruud having to brake check himself to try and avoid the cars in front. And Leo was caught off guard and he ran straight into the back of Ruud. And for some reason, the stewards have decided to give Ruud a 15-second time penalty and 3 penalty points, even though he didn't finish the race. Yeah. And the fact that Ruud was to blame for that is something I don't really agree with after watching the footage. He was mostly trying to avoid carnage rather than create it, so I don't understand why he was given a 15-second time penalty and 3 penalty points. It's a very peculiar incident, and I think it's something the stewards should look back on, because I kind of disagree with it. Why you ghosted me on Discord? Oh, because I haven't really checked the Discord notifications, Alex. What do you want? Let's see here. Discord. Well, seeing as I've started now, Alex, I suppose I could invite you. I'll be back in a minute, chat, as Crichton goes up to pole position. It'll only take me a few moments. There you go, Alex. If you wish to join, you are more than welcome to. You probably need an invite to the session. I don't know if you've got one or not. That's okay. But that's pretty much all the news out of the way. We can now fully focus on this qualifying session. I'm pleased to report we have 20 drivers competing tonight, which is fantastic to see. What isn't fantastic to see is Racing Upter is out of qualifying already. He's retired out after setting a 1 minute 29.6, so I'm guessing he got into some sort of trouble on his in-lap. So he'll be more than likely starting from last place. Gentleman is making his way through the infamous middle sector. Hello, Alex. Sorry I didn't check Discord properly.
Hello.
Hello.
Really glad to be with the best commentator in Race Spec.
Oh, that's up for debate, but I'm glad you're here. It's always nice to have an extra pair of eyes watching over the race, and also to have somebody to talk to over the course of the race.
Can you send me an invite to the lobby?
I can certainly try. Let's see here. Invite friends. Hopefully I'll be able to. Because sometimes invites don't want to work too well. Every so often. There we are. So it has worked. That's good to see. I did a league race back in Russia, and my co-commentator dropped out of the session. Tried to invite them back in. Did not work. It just flat out refused to send them an invite. It was very frustrating. But no, it's nice to have you here, Alex. We're racing here at Silverstone, and you're a rather quick driver, from what I've seen. What's your thoughts about this racetrack here in Great Britain?
Well, it's a really tricky track. Qualifying is really important around here because it doesn't look like it, but it's really hard to overtake here. And we'll see how the drivers will behave like in qualifying, because getting a top 5 position is key in my opinion. And about the track, what can I say? It's one of the best in F1, like high speed corners. The rear just wants to get away from the car basically in half of the corners. Like you need to be committed in every single corner. I really love this track, so let's see what these guys can do to us.
Yeah, for me it's quite the opposite. I am not well, as a spectator I enjoy this racetrack, but as a driver I suck here so badly. I am so terrible at Silverstone. I don't know, I just never got the flow of this place ever, no matter how much practice I would put in. Fiery Hour jumps up to 4th place. I don't know. I just never got the flow of this place, and as a result, I've never had any good races here, really, as a driver. As a commentator, though, I've seen plenty of good races, and I think I completely agree with you that qualifying will be key. We'll see DRS trains forming early in the race. We'll have a few packs left and right. And unless we see a safety car at some point, anyone who doesn't keep up with the front runners, it's basically game over for the win. So
I agree. Yeah, completely agree.
As Spilly's coming towards the end of a flying lap. He's coming out to Stowe, heading towards the Vale chicane. He chucks it in third gear, modulating the brake and the throttle a little bit there at the entry to 16. Comes around Club Corner, back onto the Hamilton straight. Crosses the line to jump up to pole position, beating Crichton by 0.04 of a second, who was getting ready to set a flying lap. That will be an onboard, actually. I might take advantage of in a few moments' time. Meanwhile, Ford here is exiting Luffield, heading towards turn 8 Woodcote, then onto the old pit straight before they made the track layout change back in 2010, I think it is. You have to go completely committed through Cops Corner. You have to take it flat, but if the back end goes away from you, there's no gathering it back. You're going into the grass or worse, into a barrier. As Ford is coming out of Chapel down the Hangar Straight. He's up by only 0.04 in the middle sector. As Crichton here is going to start a flying lap. We'll ride on board, give you a proper tour of the racetrack. Heading down the Hamilton Straight into Abbey, turn 1, then turn 2, keeping it pinned on the accelerator, then around turn 3, Village. Not a bad overtaking spot. Might see some carnage on the opening lap. Around the loop, turn 4, then into the left-hander of Aintree onto the Wellington Straight. Now down towards Brooklands, this is arguably the best overtaking spot, as Crichton's up by almost 1/10.5 at turn 6. Around Luffield, turn 7. Get on the power nice and gently, use all the curb on the outside. Around turn 8, there's yellow flags are slow Mercedes, so that has to be Fiery Hour entering the pits. Around Cops Corner, turn 9. Small lift there from Crichton just to keep the back end in check. Now heading towards Maggots, Beckett's. Keeping it nice and steady, beautiful flow through the S section. Around Chapel, he'll open DRS down the Hangar Straight. He's up by 0.5 of a second. That's all he needs to try and retake pole. He's got a few more corners to get through first. Around Stowe, turn 16. 6th gear, gets on the power, nice and early. Use all the necessary curb on the left-hand side. Into the Vale chicane, turn 16 and 17. Nicely done there. Short shifting there on the exit. Around Club Corner, crossing the line, and does a 26.285. So beating Spilly by 0.03 of a second. This is also something we tend to see out of Silverstone. Qualifying tends to be quite close. I think that's just because everyone knows this racetrack. This used to be the test circuit for pre-season stuff here on Race Spec, so everyone in the community should know the racetrack pretty well.
It's where the first F1 race in history took place in the end, like in 1950. So...
It was the first ever championship race back in 1950.
Yeah, exactly.
Won by Giuseppe Farina, who would go on to win the title that same year. Players carrying it full throttle there through Cops Corner. But yeah, you can understand why it's such a legendary racetrack. It's up there with the likes of Monza, Spa, Monaco. I would argue Interlagos is almost reaching that legendary status. Yeah. It's very close now. Definitely one of the best racetracks, I think. It's my personal favourite racetrack in the world to just watch racing. Interlagos always does something at Brazil. As Plebs comes through the Vale chicane. He's low on fuel, so he won't be setting another flying lap. He'll cross the line to jump up to P6 with a 26.7. So from P1 all the way down to P13. It's 1 second. It's looking like Shanghai all over again. It was very close there as well. Gentleman starts flying lap. Scotty, I think, is on an in lap.
And let's not forget that Fiery Hour is in P5, like this 26.7 was made on mediums.
Quite right.
And now he's letting soft tires, maybe he will go for another run, but he's potential to get up into P2 or maybe a potential pole as well. So.
Alex, if you were in Fiery Hour's position, like your P5 on the medium compound tyre, would you even bother to set a time on the softs?
Well, you're asking the right guy, because I did the same thing on Sunday. Like, the gaps here are too narrow, to be honest. Like, the track will ramp up big time, and I think it's worth it, like, to have another run on softs, because like, if you can see, like, Plebs is just 2 thousandths of a second behind, then Bex is just less than 1/10 away. You really risk to put yourself in a position where, like, you can start P8, P9 on medium, so it's not really what you want to. And yeah, so I think it's worth it for him, like, to try and get the top 3 spot on softs.
And Oa's Wogboy jumps into the top 10 on the medium compound tyre, so a few drivers trying to set top 10 times on the mediums. But yeah, you really don't want to be in that midfield, do you? You definitely want to be at the front, and you definitely don't want to be at the back. Oh goodness, the amount of work you have to do from the back, and the amount of luck you realistically need if you're starting from the back. If I recall correctly, the hard tyre is basically useless around here, isn't it? At Silverstone?
Nah, the hard tires is just not worth it to use. Like, it's not a really good race tire, and the mediums can really last a lot. Like on Sunday, for example, I did 21 laps on mediums, and I was keeping like with the DRS of the guy who just did it on lap 10. So yeah, it's an easy soft to medium strategy.
It was a pity that luck didn't fall your way that race at Silverstone. It was just a wrongly timed safety car as Cavudi has crashed out at turn 2. So that's our second retirement from qualifying. But yeah, you do need a bit of luck to go your way. And that will be one benefit for the soft tyre runners, is that if there is an early safety car, they can box for the mediums straight away. And they can try and go to the end from there. And as you did on Sunday, you did 21 laps, so... yeah, the medium tyre, it can last a while. But,
yeah. You can just start feeling a bit of understeer, like, after 19 laps, 18 laps, but it's still, like, you don't risk a puncture, and you can go, basically you can do the whole race distance in mediums, I think.
Who will be the first of the top runners? It seems like Fiery Hour, interesting, and he is on the soft tyre. So he is having a go on the... soft tyre here at the end of the session. Whether or not he completes this flying lap is another question, but he's definitely going to try and go for pole position with this. He's coming around the loop, turn 4, short shifting there to find traction. Coming around Aidentree, turn 5 onto the Wellington straight. And the first sector, you would think you would see an improvement going from the mediums to the softs, and he's up by 0.2 of a second in the first sector, so a healthy improvement indeed. And also, those mediums he was on, Alex, those were 4 laps old. He did 4 laps on those tyres, so they're pretty worn already. So you might want to try and start on slightly fresher soft compound tyres. Maybe that's playing in his mind as he comes out of Copse Corner, heading down towards the S's, Maggots and Beckett's, keeping it nice and pinned. Around the left-hander, into the right, down to 5th gear, then around Chapel, using a bit of the grass on the inside. Middle sector, he hasn't bettered in his personal best in the middle sector. Interesting, he lost 600 through there. I didn't pick up a mistake, but that could have been just me. He's coming through Vale, and around the final corner of Club to complete his flying lap. It's going to be a 1 minute 26.4, and he jumps to P3. So he does. Oh, where's Spilly is backwards at Copse as Crichton does a 25.9.
Oh,
wow, way that is quick. G-Force Ford is coming through the Vale chicane to complete his flying lap. Around Club Corner, crossing the line. It's a 26.4, jumps to P3. G-Force Zach stays in P5. He's unable to improve. Chip ducks back into the pit lane. Scotty is making his way out of Stowe towards Vale. He'll bring it down from 7th gear all the way down to 3rd. Nice and gentle on the accelerator. exiting Vale now, around Club Corner, up towards the line. He does a 1 minute 27 flat, and he jumps inside the top 10. It's not exactly the best place you want to be, because you're starting on used tyres. That's where he is. He's in P10. So that means Wogboy will be the only driver inside the top 10 who will start on the mediums. Everyone else will start on the soft tyre. And it's Crichton on pole with a mega lap time. 1 minute 25.982.
I was about to say, will we see a 25 here? It looked like pretty hard to make, but yeah, we know how quick Crichton is, so... That's
quick. that is very quick.
Oh. Thank God the session didn't crash, because, like, I don't know if there's a bug, like in qualifying. If you join mid-quali, you've got like 18 minutes still, even if the qualifying is started. And even as a spectator, I was like 9 minutes. I had 9 minutes more of time, like in qualifying. So I said, okay, I'd better not crash the lobby, but then it worked out. Okay, I'm quite glad about it.
That's okay. It's all good. We've had enough lobby glitches as it is, so we're pretty used to it by now. But,
oh my, yeah.
Crichton on pole position by just over 3/10 to Spilly, then Ford lines up P3, Fiery Hour in 4th, then Zach in P5, Plebs P6, Bags in 7th, Tinselman in 8th, Wogboy in 9th, and Scotty rounds out the top 10. Then we have Chip, Roscoe Arm, Karma, Grim Reaper, Average Only, Rude, Leo, Kavudi, Hilles, and Racing Upta, starting from the back of the field in 20th. Alright. Probably going to see some lap 1 drama, more than likely. I mean, the opening couple of corners, they're very high speed, and when you're going through side by side, there's a very high chance of contact. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we saw some opening lap drama. We definitely saw some opening lap drama at Montreal last week, so I suppose we'll find out. But no, it's magnificent to see we have a full field of cars, 20 drivers lined up ready to go. Attendance has been a interesting topic in many esports leagues, specifically here in Oceania. But no, it's good to see a full field. And very competitive and very close field at that. As drivers will be setting off on their formation lap. So, we know everyone bar Wogboy inside the top 10 is starting on the soft tyre. What about everyone else? It's a mix. It's a bit of a mix. It's nothing major, but it's a mix. So we know, yeah, Wogboy P9 starting on the mediums, then Chip in P11 is starting on the medium tyre. Roscoe Arm starts alongside him, he's on the soft tyre. Sam Mikamo in P13. Grim Reaper P14, also starting on the soft tyre. An Average Only P15 starting on the medium, same with Rude in P16, and Leo in 17th, and Kavudi in 18th place as Hilles runs awfully wide there at turn 3. He's on a pad, I think. I believe he messaged the Discord saying he's on a pad because he has wheel trouble, so that's why he's a bit further back than usual. And Racing Upta had some sort of incident during qualifying. He'll start from the back. He's on the medium compound tyre. So it's a 13-7 split. So it's a healthy mix, which is good to see. But no, it's just a long wait until race start. Might see a bit of opening lap drama. Will luck favour the soft runners, or will luck favour the medium runners? Who can make the best gains off the start as well?
Yeah. Oh, I really understand Roscoe's choice, like Karma and Green Reaper's choice to start on softs. Maybe what they're trying to achieve is like trying to stay in the DRS train of the first soft runners, which is a bit easier in the start of the race, like on if you've got some fresh softs on. But on the other hand, if Chip and Wogboy keep up with them, they've got a really big chance, like to get a big overcut and gain a lot of positions, because the undercut here doesn't work that much.
No. But keeping up is key for those medium runners. If they don't, then they're sort of stuck in no man's land throughout the majority of the race until there's a safety car that could try and help them out. So they need to push hard straight away, try and keep up with the leaders, as you said, because if they don't, they're going to be in some trouble. Everyone should be lined up ready to race here. All 20 cars ready to go. There's the leaderboard shuffling drivers around. Here we go. We have 10 red lights, and we are underway here in Silverstone. Crichton gets a nice start off the line. Spilly can't draw alongside. Instead, he slops behind the Mercedes into turn 1. Side-by-side action in the midfield. As they try to sort themselves out, they head into turn 3. Oh, dear. Oh, Blair's up to P5. He's battling here with Zach around the outside at turn 4. He's going to keep it there as well, keeping 5th place. A few drivers squabbling up and down the order as 40's trying to make a move on Crichton into Brooklands. Looking around the long way, can't get it done. And Karma's out. Oh, a massive crash involving Rude and Karma on the Wellington Straight. And we have a virtual safety car. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen a crash on the Wellington Straight since Kimi Räikkönen binned it back in 2016?
14, I think.
14. Oh, further back than I thought. But how about that? On the straight.
Well, what happened?
I don't know. I caught the end of it. I caught them both crashing into the wall. But I didn't... I guess they interlocked wheels and they both went into the wall, I guess.
I think there was some squeezing for sure.
Has to be.
Straight.
Yeah. Maybe there was a third car involved as well. I'm not sure. As we're back on the green flag racing, Ford's taken the lead. He's caught Crichton napping, who tries to send it down the inside at Stowe. Exiting the right-handed sweeper down towards the chicane. Tinselman is now into 7th place. But what an opportunistic move there from Ford. Just absolutely caught Crichton napping. But he won't be able to pull away. That's not the nature of Silverstone. We're going to have these long trains start to form as we begin lap 2 of 26, racing up to a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits. The only reason why he would be stopping now is if he's got damage, so I'm guessing he got involved with both Rude and Karma on the opening lap. So there was a third car involved in that. I'll guess we'll have to wait and see with the post-race reports, get a better idea of what happened there on the opening lap. Around Brooklands into Luffield, turn 7. The leaders so closely bunched together, but they can't do anything. There's no real way to pass, even when you're half a second behind the car in front, as they head down the old pit straight towards Copse Corner. In fact, everyone from the lead all the way down to 13th place are all within a second of one another. So that's the train for the start. 13 cars from GeForce Ford to average only. And it's a bit of a gap between Chip and average only, between P13 and 14. Fiery Hour is close, but doesn't have the straight line speed to try and pass into Stowe. Around the sweeper they go, down the hill towards Vale. Yeah, they're sort of stuck. They can't really do anything at this point. Every little wing cam here, you can see the flexing of the front wing as the drivers batter themselves over the curbs. GeForce Ford setting a new fastest lap. No surprises there as he is the leader, but now DRS is enabled. Now, I don't think they'll spice things up too much, except for the battle Ford and Crichton. Will we see Crichton try and get by his GeForce compatriot? I think he will. Got DRS using a bit of overtake as well, a fair bit of overtake, giving Ford no opportunity to try and get the position back into turn 6. So Crichton retakes the lead. Ford just needs to try and follow the Mercedes-Benz as best he can. Maybe try and get it back at Stowe, or just stay behind. Maybe save a bit of battery, who knows. The trouble is, Alex, with the field as closely bunched up as it is, it's very difficult to know where to look in order to capture all the action, because you never know. There might be something happening here at the front, then in the midfield somebody has an incident. You have to quickly go to it. Oh,
yeah, it's the job of the commentator. What I'm seeing is that Scotty is losing DRS actually, and top 6 is in DRS train, and then Tinselman right now trying to move on Scotty. He makes the mistake.
Yeah, it's a very clean move. Scotty being nice and fair there, letting him go. I think Bags and Roscoe are having a bit of a melee here into the Vale chicane. Bags has the inside line for the two right-handers. Can he hang on to P9? The answer is no, only just though. He put up a good fight. He wasn't able to keep that P9. But yeah, you're quite right. The top 6 have started to break away from the rest of the field, and that's not a good thing for anyone in the midfield. They're basically relying on luck to try and catch up now. It's a well-placed safety car or something of the like, as Ford gets by Crichton into Brooklands. Crichton fights back though into turn 7 Lovefield. Fordy trying to keep it on the outside. He can't do it though. Tries to get the switch back. Can he get the power down?
Are we going to see them side by side at Cops?
Or we might. This could turn nasty. Ford's looking down the inside. No. It's awfully close between those two. As racing up to sets a new fastest lap. Heading down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Ford is well in the slipstream. Fiery Hour is very much the same in P4. Spelly has his wing mirrors full of Mercedes-Benz right now as they exit Chapel. Ford, he should be able to get by. He's in the slipstream using up a fair bit of battery. And there he goes. He retakes the lead. Crichton's back to second. Here comes Spilly with a whole heap of momentum, but he wasn't able to try and overtake Crichton into turn 16. He stays behind for now. Fiery Hour just working away as well, just on the back of Spilly, applying pressure. Plebs is right there in P5 as well. And G4 Zach, I haven't given them enough credit from qualifying to qualify inside, well inside the top 10. That was a great effort from him, and he's keeping up with the leaders right now. He's keeping himself in contention, which is really, really big. If it stays green flag all the way through the race. Then we got this massive midfield train behind, being led by Tinselman in the Alpha Tauri. Got Roscoe on Bags, the two Ferraris, and Average only in 13th place. All in this massive train. The leaders, though, they're making their way around Luffield. Crichton hasn't got past his compatriot just yet, though he is awfully close, only a tenth and a half behind as they go through Woodcote towards Copse Corner. We won't see a pass here, he's not close enough. Having a lot of speed through the corner, using all the curve on the outside. You can't help but let your heart leap into your mouth when they go through there at such high speed. Just based off my own driving experiences here. If you go through throttle through that corner, the back end just wants to break away from you. You have to be so careful with your steering inputs as Crichton goes down the inside of Ford to retake the lead.
I think now that the race is going to get interesting, because we're going to see if Crichton and Ford are actually collaborating or just fighting. Because right now, like, they've got a lot of drivers behind, and if they start fighting, they're just going to lose time. So maybe what they're thinking right now is just like getting past the DRS zone, basically, and try not to lose like as less time as possible. I think that's what they should do.
Yeah, I have a feeling you might be right there, Alex. Because Ford was only 1/10 behind Crichton heading into turn 3. I think if he was genuinely battling Crichton, he might have had a go at turn 3. Just knowing 40. And also the DRS detection zone is at the braking zone at turn 3. So if he managed to get by, I think he still might have had DRS down the Wellington Straight. So I think you're right. I think these two might just be working together a little bit. Get through the majority of the opening laps and then start to scrap towards the end. Saw G4 Zach run a bit wide there as well in the back of shot at turn 9. Coming around. Oh, hello, yellow flags. It's Chip. Chip has spun. He's doing a bit of lawn mowing now in his Red Bull. He'll get back onto the racetrack nice and safely. Can't see any wing damage either. As Ford's looking down the inside at Stone. Maybe I'm wrong, because they're side by side here, heading down towards the chicane of 16 and 17. Ford can't hang it round the outside, so Crichton hangs on to the lead. Coming out of the chicane, around Club Corner, back onto the Hamilton Straight. They begin lap 7 of 26 at Silverstone. Ford is very close, 1/10 behind as they go through turn 1. Into turn 2. Will he go for a move? Oh, he's looking. Oh, he's certainly looking. Spelly also half defending there, I noticed, from Fiery Hour. So that Mercedes is He's got plenty of speed. 40. Oh, what a catch. As Billy goes round the long way. Here comes Fiery Hour with a whole heap of momentum. They're side by side heading down the Wellington Straight. Into Brooklands. Fiery Hour has the inside line, but Ford will have the inside line for turn 7. Can the Mercedes keep it on the outside? He's going to try. Oh, there's enough space given as well. Oh, but Fiery Hour slots back in behind the Williams, so 40 having a bit of a moment. Oh, as it's almost side by side into Cop's Corner. That's never nice seeing that. But I'm sure 40 will be thanking himself for managing to catch that slide. Otherwise, he could have been in real trouble.
Yeah, I actually was on board with Ford, like in that moment. He touched the inside curb in turn 4, which unsettled the car big time. And then he had to compensate because of the low entry speed, basically. And that's why his back end just went sideways. And but now he's still P3 in the DRS train, so no big damage to his race. Let's see how he can react to it.
As Tinselman is into the pit lane already. So lap 8, it's a few laps early to the pit window. He's trying to undercut, but as you mentioned earlier, Alex, undercut isn't incredibly powerful here, so he might be doing himself... what's the opposite to a favour? Can't think of the word. He's not doing himself a favour, basically. I just can't think of the word right now.
Yeah, also because like all the guys behind him are in a DRS train, so basically he will get a tyre advantage, but he will be compensated basically by the DRS. Oh, they're fighting a lot for top. Still, he's in P1.
He's done it. He is into first place, exiting left field. Crichton slots back in behind. 40 is right there as well. Same with Fiery Out. There's Plevs and Zach. They probably got the popcorn out just watching the show, because the top 4 are separated by 1 second at the moment as they head into Maggots and Beckett's. This could be quite nasty if somebody gets it wrong, but these are the top split guys. They don't make mistakes now, do they? As they exit Chapel, Crichton will get DRS. He surely will get back by here to retake the lead. He will. Can 40 follow? He's going to try, looking down the inside. Spilly gives in. Fairly nice bit of respect there from Spilly, not putting up too much of a fight as into the pits they go. So Crichton's in, Ford's in, Spilly's into the pits as well. So the leaders have blinked as Spilly gets a 5-second penalty. You're kidding. Severe collision with Ford. I love this game. I do so love this game. He won't serve it though. I don't think he will serve it anyway.
No.
Yeah, there we are. Leaving the pits on the medium tyre. But that leading pack, those who are still out there might not be too bad, because there's still a little DRS group between Fiery Hour, Plevs and Zach. So they haven't lost that DRS advantage. They still do have that. But I can't help but wonder when they will pit. I assume they're going to pit this lap. They won't let the undercut take effect, if there is any effect, as the leaders are making their way through Cops Court. Oh, a bit of understeer I noticed there from Plevs. He missed the apex by a good foot or so. Oh, Grim Reaper's had a moment, and there goes his teammate, and someone else has had a moment. It's Racing Up to. Yeah, unlucky. He spun at turn 2. He's still in the race, though. That's the main thing. He needs a lot of luck to go his way, though, as average only gets by Grim Reaper as well. Reaper might be in trouble. He might have damage, because he's lost a few positions in places where he really shouldn't have lost positions, as the leaders are in, except for Zach. Ooh, I don't know about that. As Reaper's into the pits. Oh, pull it up. He pulls it up. Nicely done. Something I've done a lot of times is speed into the pit lane at Silverstone. It's so easy to do, as Zach has spun. He has spun at turn 2. He gets it going again as Ford gets a tying penalty. 3 seconds next to his name. That's for accumulating warnings. Cavudi and Leo are having at it. Now, Fiery Hour and Plevs, they're leaving the pit lane. Where's Crichton? Here's Crichton. Where do the others come out? Oh, just behind. So yeah, as you said, Alex, undercut isn't really a thing here. Fiery Hour and Plevs, they're right on the back of this battle once again. Fantastic.
What a shame for Zach. Like, this mistake will cost him big time.
I reckon he's kicking himself not pitting in when the other two did. I think. Just getting off those old tyres, getting onto fresh ones might have helped him out. And just to have those cars in front of him as a reference, as Leo is lagging a bit for me. He had a bit of a moment at Chapel, he's lost time, I noticed.
Yeah, he's lagging a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully that's not affecting too many people. As Ford here, they're trying to go for an overtake as Bags gets a 3-second time penalty. Zach goes into the pit lane. Ford goes down the inside at Stowe and he takes 8th place. That's a provisional lead once everyone's done their pit stops. Top 4 really close together. Plevs has lost time. I've just noticed that. He's 1.2 seconds behind Fiery Hour. That's not a good thing. He needs to get closer now. He needs to gain a lot of time very quickly. Otherwise, he'll lose the top 4. And here's Zach making that mistake. He's dropped behind Tinselman. There goes Bags and Scotty as well.
And watch out for Chip now, because Chip is on a 10 old mediums, and now the leading pack, the net leading pack, is joining the fight with him. So maybe they can find a bit of traffic and that can change a bit, like for the leaders. Let's see what happens.
All it takes is one variable, and Chip is one variable that can affect this fight. When he gets involved, it could split up the train. So it might turn a 4-horse race into a 2-horse race just by his presence alone. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what effect Chip has, because Chip doesn't have to get out of the way. Just because the guys behind have pitted doesn't mean, he has to move for them. He can genuinely fight for position. He's entitled to. So, as Roscoe on pits as well. So he's the final driver who started on the soft tyre, who is getting off the soft tyre. Yeah, this big group of cars are catching Chip at quite a high speed. They're already within half a second of the Red Bull. I suppose it shows you the pace difference between fresh mediums and 10-lap-old mediums. As Roscoe should come out behind Plevs, maybe behind Tinselman as well. Be pretty close. Here we go, he's exiting the pits now. There goes Tinselman, so he slots in between Tinselman and Bags in P12. Kavudi being overtaken by Leo. We're going to see an overtake here. Surely we will. Chip moves to the inside, exposing the racing line to G-Force Ford. He's looking around the long way. They're side by side. 40 gets through. Now Crichton's going to try and do the same. He goes down the inside. This is very respectful stuff from Chip. He's not really putting up too much resistance to this pack. He's just sort of letting them all through. Now Fiery Hour draws alongside, and he should fall to the back of the train. There he does. He lifts off the throttle a little bit and slots behind. Well, that's very respectful from Chip. He understands that's not his battle. But he had every right to battle if he chose to. But he chose not to. I'm sure those four will be quite happy about that.
I think if Chip wasn't an Aston Martin or in a Williams, that would be a lot different.
Quite right.
But
quite right. But no, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Got to play those sort of team games, especially with such a high quality field like this. If you can help a teammate out, you can help a teammate out. But no, that's very respectful from Chip, and he can tag along to the back of this train, try and gain a bit more time on those old mediums.
Wow, Plebs has a lot of heaps of time.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's 2.7 seconds away from the leaders right now. I don't know what's going on.
Damage, maybe?
Maybe just some mistakes, because it doesn't seem to lose time constantly. Like, and he's out of battery as well. Not looking good for now.
40 is side by side around Luffield. 40, can he try and hang it on the outside? He's trying, but he lets Crichton back through, and that's Kavudi who was spun. Oh, he's still going. He gets it. pointed back in the right direction, hopefully.
He's joining. Oh my.
Yeah, that's not good. 40's right on the back of Crichton. Now, ghosting's turned on, but you can't trust this game. So, the drivers all took a boarding action.
You're not even allowed by Race Spec rules to rejoin this way.
No. So I imagine the stewards might have a word or two to be said to Cavudi. Oh, it's Fiery Hour. He's being, well, living up to his name. He's very fiery. He's been spicy. He's been attacking. He's trying to get by Spilly, but Spilly, being Spilly, he's just hanging on. Doing a great job holding on to that provisional P3 as Fiery Hour has a wiggle and a half through turn 1. But I just noticed as well, we're past the halfway mark. We're at lap 14 of 26. So the race has gone by fairly quickly, which is great. No safety car interventions just yet. We'll wait and see in this second half of the race if we'll see any safety cars. As of now, we've had none. We've only had one virtual safety car, I think, from that opening lap incident, whatever that was. But Ford's actually broken away just a little bit, half a second. Crichton will reel him back in though with the slipstream and whatnot. Around turn 9, Copse Corner. Oh, it's running wide there. It's Fiery Hour. Chip is still within a second, just, so he's doing pretty well on those 13.
Oh my, Fiery Hour just touched the back of Spilly like a Beckett. Oh my, that was nasty.
Well, here we go. He's got to run. What's he going to do? He's looking left and right, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed to pass. Oh, he's got to run though. Ooh. Not close enough. Oh, dearie me! Oh, how did he catch that? He lost the back end big time. He rode over the sausage curve at the inside of 16. Back end completely went from him, but he's still within a second of Spilly. That's the critical thing. He's still very much within that second, so he's not out of this. Crichton's run wide at turn 3. That compromises his run through 4 a little bit, but Spilly is unable to capitalise on that. Oh, but what a dramatic couple of moments we saw there from Fiery Hour. Oh.
Yeah. It's the same that happened to Ford, basically. Like, those sausage curves just unsettle the car big time, and you just can't do anything. You just can't catch it.
Well, they used all their driving talent to catch that, I reckon. If that were me, I'll be in the grass doing some lawn mowing, I would think. But, yeah, no, this track can be incredibly brutal when you get it slightly wrong. Doesn't have to be massively wrong. It's just missing your line, turning in too early, turning in too late. And then the track will bare its teeth and be very unforgiving. And, Crichton's closing. Not by enough, though, I think.
But boy's in the pits.
Yes, he is. He's going to bolt on the soft tyre. I think it's Cavudi. Has lost 2 positions, I noticed, at Stowe. He's dropped down to 12th. Logboy onto the soft tyre. And there goes the provisional leaders. We still have the Alpines of Average Only and Leo yet to box. As Spilly runs wide at turn 2. Compromises his line a little bit here at 3 and 4. Or can Fiery Hour get a run? He's taken a nice wide line to try and maximise the speed out of the hairpin. He is close, but he's not close enough. Oh. And Spilly, he's lost a bit of time to the 2 in front. The gap has increased to 8/10. He needs to try and get his helmet down, try and close that gap back up, keep up the fight, as Wogboy has overtaken Scotty for P13.
It's key for Wogboy to get past Bags as well. He's on new softs, needs clean air.
And he's coming up towards Copse. Here we are. So he'll be looking to get by into Stowe, I would think. You just get a nice run through the S's, get DRS and get by. Should be a fairly simple move. Leader is in, Average Only, for his stop. For the provisional lead, Crichton's taken it back. So he's into 3rd. Fariel still working away. Spilly still trying to close in. Roscoe and Tinselman are having a ding-dong battle here at Stowe. Tinselman has to give in. Roscoe Arms into ninth. And Wogboy, yeah, he's gone by pretty easily. Very little resistance as Cavudi goes into the pits to go onto the soft tyre. Wogboy has a fair bit of clear air in front of him. Try and set some decent times on the soft tyre. His first target will be Tinselman, and he's set to go to the end on those 8-lap-on mediums. Let's see here. Battle
Look how much he's gaining on traction. Yeah.
He's only 1.7. Oh, now 1.8. He's actually lost time. Oh, that's because he doesn't have DRS. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
The amount of time you lose without DRS, that is quite insane. It just shows you how powerful it is around any racetrack, really. You really do need it. If you don't, you're kind of screwed. Yeah, this battle between the top four been ongoing all the way throughout this race. It's been good to watch. It's mainly just been changing places between Ford and Spilly, but we've had a interesting, dramatic moments, namely with Fordy losing it at turn 4 and Fiery Hour at Vale, turn 16. But they're still all there. But Fordy and Spilly, they have time penalties next to their name.
Oh,
Now, Spilly, that's a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. And I think they'll be able to get that removed, surely. 40, though, that's a genuine 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So, yeah. It's going to be tough for him to win unless the three around him get penalties as well. We'll have to wait and see. 40's not using any DRS down the Wellington Straight. He kept that flap shut. Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe he got Crichton past because, like, when he was in the lead, like, thinking about he had 3-second penalty for about, like, trying to break this DRS. But then, seeing that he couldn't, he just said, okay, let's just stick with him and try to save as much battery as I can. Let's see.
Well, at this rate, he's basically guaranteed 4th place. And that's only if Spilly gets his penalty removed, because, of course, Ford would finish on the podium with only 3 seconds compared to Spilly with 5. Or as Ford... Well, he's looking down the inside of Crichton, so this battle ain't over. I guess Fordy just didn't want to overtake at Brooklands, I guess. He wanted DRS down the Hangar Straight. As Tenselman gets by Roscoe Arm at Stowe. Scotty getting by Bags at the same corner. He's into 10th place. Wogboy is now closed in onto the back of the two in front, so he's getting ready to battle it out for what is 7th. And poor old Plebs. Oh, he was in that battle, but he's a long way behind now. 5.7 seconds. Woo-wee. That's a big, big gap. But he's got a healthy margin to the car behind, so he shouldn't worry too much. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, the top 4 are heading around Brooklands. Spilly is applying pressure to Crichton. And around Luffield, it's very, very close between these three. As they exit Luffield around Woodcote, Average Only has overtaken Bags. That must have been at Brooklands, I think, looking at the minimap. Around Cops Corner. Oh, Fiery Hour was well off the racetrack there.
Big moment.
Might have been a warning, I'm not sure. The game's so inconsistent about that sort of thing. So, exiting Chapel down the Hangar Straight.
Watch out, because Fiery Hour has got more battery. He doesn't want to go for a move, though.
No, and neither does Crichton. He doesn't want to retake that position. He stays behind in 3rd. There might be a bit of battery saving going on, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's really wise from Crichton as well. Like, Ford has got a penalty, so why should he try to battle? Like, he's got P1 already in his hands.
Leo pits in. He'll be bolting on the soft tyre. There they are there. And then this battle. So we got 49% on Fiery Hour. It was 20-odd percent for Spilly. Yeah. Got 40-odd, high 40s from Crichton, about mid-40s from Ford. So Ford, Crichton and Fiery Hour, they're fairly similar in terms of battery life. Spilly's got a bit of a disadvantage. He's got about half the life. They come around turn 7.
There was another tap on the rear of Spilly by Fiery Hour. He really wants to get past. Look at the difference in speed he's got, like when he activates this battery.
He needs to make some sort of unorthodox overtake, like an overtake in a place where you don't normally do it. Because he's tried the normal places and he's unable to get by. So maybe Fiery Hour has to get a bit creative, or maybe he can just play a bit more patient. Just wait. Still got a few laps to go. You see here, Fiery Hour just doesn't have the straight line speed yet to attack the Aston. He wasn't using any battery though, so I reckon he might be playing a bit more patiently. Just to wait until the right moment to strike as Average only overtakes Scotty. Oh, Fiery Hour, the bit of wheel spin. Just a little bit of wheel spin at turn 17. Oh, and he wiggled the wheel there. He's a bit frustrated with himself. Maybe a bit with Philly as well. As they head around Village, turn 3, then into the loop, turn 4.
Crichton goes a bit wide in turn 3. Let's see if Spilly has the momentum. Try and get Crichton. It's really close.
Yeah, Crichton just gets a really good run though onto the straight. And Spilly's just... he can't get close enough. Just not there. But that's sort of the nature of DRS trains. When you're in them, it's very difficult to battle one another. It's fairly easy for the front two because one doesn't have DRS while the other one does. Oh, hello, yellow flags. It's racing up there, I think. There he is. He's off the road. Well, it's a fairly nice spin. He got off the road completely. So, didn't affect the leaders. That's good. Heading down the hangar straight towards Stone. Sector 2 yellows again. That's racing up there.
Yeah, spun again.
Yeah, poor fella. Oh, and someone else has spun, I think. Has there? No, sorry. That's just an awkward camera angle.
Oh, Fiery Hour is really on the edge. He outbraked himself like in Vale chicane.
Alright, we'll bring up the penalty graphic now. Penalties are definitely going to play a part in this. As leaders are making their way through turn 3 again. And around turn 4. I wonder how desperate these 4 are going to be at the end as Racing up to gets a speeding penalty. He might be retiring. He does retire out of the race. I suppose fair enough down in 18th. Top 15 score points. So it's only a few laps ago. I suppose you might as well. Coming out of Luffield. Kavudi gets a 3-second time penalty. Wogboy is into 7th place. His next target is Tinselman. Then it's a fairly clear track between him and Plevs. He can try and close in, but it'll be a fairly difficult task. Oh, Fiery Hour is so close. He is so close. Oh, he's so very close. As he's left the session.
Now he needs to go for a move now.
Alright, he's dumping his battery. Oh, he's turned it off now, and there goes Spilly. With that better straight line speed, he hangs on to 3rd. Using a bit of battery at the exit of Stone, looking around the long way, Spilly cuts him off. Grim Reaper, a 3-second time penalty as Wogboy moves himself into 6th place. So can he catch Plevs? The gap is 1.8 seconds. Plevs is on aging tyres. That gap, it doesn't appear to be closing just yet, but I'll keep an eye on it. Around Village. Oh, contact again from Fiery Hour and Spilly. This time at the entry of 4. Around turn 5. Oh, this has been close. This has been very close. A bit more weaving there from Fiery Hour, just a little bit.
Yeah, Fiery Hour is just basically pushing Speedy like, come on, get out of the way. Want to get this win.
Well, his target will be Crichton with the penalty.
Yeah, of course.
He's right there. He can touch him almost. And there's the more weaving. He wants to get by. He's fed up with Spilly. He needs to be creative. He needs to try and find a way. Because the three in front have made very few mistakes. 40 made one at turn 4. And Fiery Hour himself made one at turn 16. But that's about it. That's it in terms of mistakes. As
Fiery Hour just... Ooh. Nice one.
Crichton into the lead. 40 back to second.
What I think Fiery Hour should do, like, it's been like 6 or 7 laps that Spilly has got, like, he's a bit slower at the apex of Beckett's. And Fiery Hour is just not adapting to it. Like, if he can adapt to Spilly, basically he can have a better run towards Chapel and the Angus Straight. And maybe, just maybe, he can get a move on.
That straight line speed of the Aston proves to be the key factor. Like, after Chapel, Fiery Hour closes in, but at the second half of the straight, Spilly pulls away. It's that second half, and there's some more weaving from Fiery Hour. Get out of my way, Spilly. For goodness sake. Around Luffield come the top 4. Exiting the right-hander, heading towards Woodcote. Using up his battery look down the old pitch straight. He's running out of opportunities. Can he find one, though? With 2 and a bit laps remaining. As Wogboy has closed in on Plebs, he's within half a second of the McLaren, so he might see a change for P5. And look at the run around Chapel, but again, he just won't be close enough. Philly, look at him, just driving away from the Mercedes. Probably slightly lower wings on the Aston Martin, I'd say.
Sure.
Really helping out Spilly.
Watch out for Wogboy.
Here we go.
Oh, he doesn't go for a move.
Interesting.
Slow down.
I suppose he can be patient with this. He doesn't have to pass him now, and if he does, it gives Plebs the opportunity to try and get the position back. So he can bide his time here, be patient, and then go for a move. Or maybe he just didn't really feel like doing it at start. Who knows? We'll find out.
Well, the overspeed was there. If he can keep in Plebs DRS, that's fine. But like softs just tend to get a bit understeery, like after 9 laps. So let's see. Maybe it's going right now. Let's see.
Fiery Hour and Spilly are close together once again. Going through Brooklands though, Plebs desperately trying to hang on to P5. Wogboy is not putting up too much of a fight just yet. He might have a go this time around though, going on to the Hangar Straight. I reckon he might have a go then. Through these all-time classic S's. Then around Chapel onto the Hangar Straight, doing a bit of lawn mowing. Fiery Hour, he's got to run, but he's not quick enough. He's just not quick enough. He loses speed.
It's just the most frustrating thing that can happen to a driver. Like, you see you're faster in the corners, but you just can't overtake on the straights. Oh my.
Oh, look how close he is. Oh, as Wogboy, there he goes. So, entering Stowe, he's done it. He's into 5th, and Roscoe Arm is doing battle here with Tinselman. And Tinselman is into 7th place. The leaders, meanwhile, they've begun the final lap. Lap 26 of 26. Fiery Hour is close. He's looking around the long way at turn 3 as Spilly defends the inside. He tries to cut off the Mercedes, but he's having none of it. Down the inside at turn 4. Spilly tries to get the drive. Tries to put the power down. He's successful. Around Aintree. Onto the Wellington Straight. Towards Brooklands for the final time. Will he go for it? Will he send it into Brooklands? He's trying. Oh, he tries to force the issue down the inside, but he can't do it. Spilly hangs on to 3rd. Around Luffield. Exiting the right-hander. He loses a little bit of ground to Spilly. Not a lot, just a little bit. Using all the battery he's got left, heading towards Copse Corner. The gap shrinks to under 0.2 of a second. Crichton, meanwhile, out in front, just minding his own business. He's got 0.3 to Ford. Will Ford try and take the lead? Oh, here we go.
Billy's light is flashing.
It's very... Oh, contact! Contact there before Chapel. They go on to the Hangar Straight now. 40. He's in the slipstream. He's going to try and go for the move. Looking around the long way of Crichton. Crichton tries to force the issue down the inside. And they're side by side on the exit, heading towards the chicane. Into turn 16, Ford has the inside line. Fiery Hour tries to send it. He's unsuccessful. Crichton hangs on to the lead. Crichton will win the British Grand Prix. What a finish. What a finish. It's a Mercedes-Benz 1-2 with Ford in third. This is only provisional, of course. We'll see what happens post-race with all the penalty stuff. But what a battle between the top four. Well done. That was fantastic to watch. Wogboy finishes in fifth. I reckon he might get driver of the day. Let's see. Position change up 4. Oh no, Roscoe Arms outdone. Oh, everyone's decided to crash onto the main straight. Plebs finishes P6. Oh, and there goes, I think that was Chip there, crashing into the side of someone. Roscoe Arms made up 5 places, coming up from 12th to 7th. Scotty finishes P8, Tinselman P9, average only up 5 as well. Zach down 6. Oh, race it could have been for this lad. Oh, if he didn't make that mistake in the middle of the race. He was up there with that 6-way battle at the front. And Wogboy is given driver of the day. Well, there you go. Oh, even though others made up more positions than him, the game decided to give him driver of the day. But here are the podium celebrations, and it's another win for Crichton. Oh my goodness, what a finish. Almost as good as Season 2. Not quite as good, but Season 2 Tier 1 was one of the most unbelievable finishes I've ever seen in league racing ever. Almost a 3-way tie at the line. It was that close. It was amazing. But this is a pretty good second to that. It's Crichton with the win by just under a second to his teammate Fiery Hour. The GeForce Ford completes the podium in third. Spelly in fourth place, then Wogboy in fifth, then Plebs in P6, Roscoe Arm in seventh, Scotty in eighth, Tinselman in ninth, and average only rounds out the top 10. Then we have GeForce Zach, Leo, Grim Reaper, Chip, Kavudi, Bags Liddell, and Hilles as our final finishers outside the 10. And racing up to Rude and Karma, all of them not finishing the race. The latter two having some sort of shunt on the opening lap that did involve racing up to, I think, because he had to pit for a new front wing on the opening lap. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens post-race between these two. Be interesting to read about it. But no. Fantastic race at Silverstone.
Definitely agree. Good stuff from all the drivers. It was a really fun race, and let's see what the drivers have to say in the interviews as well. Yes. I really wanna ask a question to Fiery Hour. I'm ready for it.
Out of between 1 and 10, how angry are you that you couldn't get by Spilly?
Yeah,
how
exactly.
frustrated were you? Oh, I'll send them invites now. Might as well take advantage of it. Add players. Oh, we'll add in the top 3 provisionally. Of course, the results might change after the race, namely with Spilly. If Spilly gets that penalty removed, which I think is more than likely, he'll jump up to second, I think, in the final results. So, which he'll be pretty happy with, I'm sure. Oh, I hate it when they're appearing offline. Makes my job a bit more difficult. And I think I'm going to have to add Fiery Hour as a friend in order to let him join into the session. So I'm going to do that now. So, unfortunately, chat, you'll be seeing more blue screen for about, I'd say 3 minutes, maybe less. Hello, Ford. Hello, Crichton. Yeah, we have Alex in here for this one. He decided to join in. He was incredibly helpful. It's always good to have someone who can actually play this game competitively. Hopefully that friend request is sent. That way, if Fiery Hour wants to join, he can come in. Can have a chat. If he wants. Doesn't have to. Not everyone's chatty, and that's alright. Wogboy famously is just will not do post-race interviews. That's just his nature. Gimme. How was your race today? Oh, well, I did alright. I drove. Basically. But, while I wait for Fiery Hour to accept a request, if he wants to join, we'll begin the post-race interviews. We'll go from third, we'll move our way up to first. So we'll start with you, Mr. Ford. You had a fairly spectacular race, I'd say, between yourself, Crichton, Spilly, and Fiery Hour. At the end, you finished in third place. That's only provisional, of course. Spilly got a 5-second, which he might get removed. Who knows what the stewards say. But right now, you're third place. How do you feel, and how was the race out there today at Silverstone?
Yeah, it was good to be back after missing 2 weeks. It was a good race to come back to, I think. Silverstone usually never fails to put on a good show. I guess it was just a little bit disappointing that I had that penalty going into the final couple of laps there because, the final lap battle could have been a lot better, I think, if there was actually stuff to play for. But, I felt like, it was good to be up in the lead train. It's always nice to know that you're one of the, you have good pace for the weekend. So, I guess P3, take some points away from it and, I guess keep going forward from there.
Yeah, you mentioned your 3-second time penalty. Do you think you could get a warning removed? Or not too concerned?
No chance.
No?
I'd like to say, yeah. I mean, I lost a lot of time with one of them. I was, it was at, what's the corner at the top of the hill before the pit lane? You know your corner name, Steve. What is it? Stowe, yeah. On the exit of that, I got a massive snap of oversteer. Pretty much nearly went back into the pits. But yeah, so I ran a little bit wide there, got that warning. Probably would have lost a bit of time, but the other two I definitely gained time from. So I mean, no arguing those. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I did it to myself, so I'll have to cop it.
That's unfortunate to hear. Speaking of oversteer, at turn 4, middle of the race, you had a massive tank slapper. Can you care to take us through that?
Well, you turn the wheel right to go left, pretty much, I guess.
Oh, yes, so, the McQueen tactic.
Yeah, exactly right, exactly. Doc Hudson's device there.
Yeah, that's it.
But no, I was just trying to get an over and under on Zach because he was driving quite slow.
Like he usually does, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He had a lot more pace there. And, I just got the power down a bit too early and, mate, I think my wheel snapped its way to save me, so I'm a bit thankful there, but yeah.
You used all your driving talent in that moment to save your life.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole race, so if you didn't see anything impressive from me in the last couple of laps there, I used it all a bit early, so...
I'd say you did pretty well in those final couple of laps, I'd say. I think you still had a bit of talent left.
It was alright.
But, Alex, anything to ask Mr. Ford?
Yeah, I've got a question for both of you guys, actually. Like, in the middle of the race, we saw you, like, getting past and back past a lot of times. Like, were you actually working together? Like, trying to save battery, both of you, and trying to get DRS, like, one lap in, one lap out? Or, like, just fighting and battling on 100%?
Do you want me to answer that, Zach, or do you want
go on.
I mean, there was a stage at the race where we both saw that Spilly was probably about 7 or 8 tenths back. And from there, I probably had about 40% battery, 30%. I'm not sure what Zach had, but I just dumped it all in that lap. And then, knowing that, Zach would be close enough for me, going into the next straight, just let him go with DRS. So I guess, my mindset was to try and, get myself and Zach to break the other two behind us. But yeah, it was just, it's so hard to break the train on this track, so they're able to sit there.
And Zach, your point of view of that question?
So we tried to pull away, but we found the slipstream here was crazy. Like, I tried on a few laps, and probably as you saw, but no chance. Like, I could probably get to about 6-7 tenths, but nothing more nothing less on that side of things. So yeah, just have to tuck in there.
Yeah, fair enough. But next week we're going over to France. 40 thoughts?
Yeah, I think France is a pretty good track. You know, quite open and stuff. So I think it allows, like Silverstone, a lot of room for battles. And even if you do make a mistake, it doesn't really punish you too harshly, thankfully. So
unlike
yeah,
Silverstone,
yeah. So you know, I expect a lot of battles to be pretty tough there because there's a lot of runoff. So yeah, I know for myself, hopefully that I'll be back here again, have a chat to you. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah, that's me. Looking forward to it.
I like the positivity. Well, congratulations on your P3 finish, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Paul Ricard. But congrats.
Thank you. Cheers.
And well, Fire Hour hasn't accepted my request. It's a weird thing with parties now. You have to be friends with them, and if you're not, you can't join. It's great. But we'll go to our race winner then, Mr. Crichton. What do you know, Zach? Want another race? I'm surprised. No.
Another race.
Your qualifying lap. 1 minute 25.982, I think it was. That's
bang on.
That's pretty quick. I didn't catch it though. I was too busy looking at your team.
Really? Oh, the one lap I wanted you to catch. That was probably up there with my top 3 best laps, I reckon.
Really?
And yeah, qualifying laps I've done. I did not expect to get that time. So yeah, I'm not too sure what happened, but the car just stuck, you know.
Yeah.
Just stuck to the black stuff, and yeah, managed to get that time. But I don't know, like it was just a joy to drive. Like I don't know, I could just feel it. Just I don't know, the car was just driving itself. So yeah, that was a good lap, and I was quite happy with that one, I must say.
Kicking myself now. Damn it. Oh well. Like, look, if it were Monaco, it would be a totally different story. I can
Monaco, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't care who's where on the leaderboard. I'm looking at you for the final, like, minute and a half. I don't care. Like, that's just a basic rule of thumb for any league commentator. If Crichton's racing at Monaco, you look at him at the end of qualifying and you see magic. But no, I'm kicking myself. I didn't see that. But you had a fairly nice race start, got into the lead, and had your battles with Ford. How was it out there on track today?
Quite enjoyable, I must say. Like, had some nice battles there with Bailey and stuff for the first few laps. And then it did get quite tight on one lap. I think, it's probably about halfway through. I thought Bailey was going to spin when he went up the inside, but we somehow managed to not crash, so that was good. But yeah, no, it was a real fun race. I thought Spilly and Fiery might have tried to pass us a little bit more, but yeah, I was quite happy staying in those top 2 spots.
But yeah, I suppose that sort of downfall being at the lower half of the train, it's kind of difficult to battle the top 2.
Yeah.
Constantly. But
I tried to give Fiery muscle stream on a few laps, but
man,
it didn't seem like he wanted it.
I reckon he was a bit angry over the course of the race. I reckon he was a bit mad. Because he wiggled the wheel more than once, I can tell you that much. Oh. Yeah. That straight line speed Spilly had, way too much. He just pulled away from Fiery. But it was still a Mercedes-Benz provision.
Yep, exactly. So,
big
yeah,
points.
We'll take that. Yeah, I think that was the first one too for the season. So,
I think you're right.
Great for the team, and it is great for the what's it called? The constructors' whole league or something. I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
Teams Championship will go.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Squad Championship.
Yep, Squad Championship was really good for that.
Squad.
Yeah, Squad. So that should bring in some nice points there. But yeah, I have to say that last lap battle with Bailey was real good fun. That last corner, I was like, do I go around the outside or do I stay behind? I wasn't too sure. I was like, because you've probably seen me try that move a few times in the past seasons, and it doesn't usually go well if you remember back to AOR a long time ago. So
we
yeah,
talk about those days. That's a long time ago.
But I was kind of thinking that as I was approaching that corner, then I was like, you know what? Let's just send it and see what happens. Like, I know Bailey's racing and how clean he is and the respect and so on. So I was like, why not just send it there? And yeah, it was good fun. Real good race.
That's good to hear. But Alex, any questions you want to ask Zach specifically?
Yeah, I've got one. First of all, GG. If you want
Cheers,
me
mate.
to say
Appreciate it.
it's perfect. You really like a loose backhand, don't you? Like,
Mate,
I was watching
love it.
some of your onboards, and like, it's not. We actually use the same setup, but looking at your driving style, you really love to get on the gas like pretty early and then catching the oversteer, right?
Yes, correct.
Like,
Yep.
Okay. Because I really noticed it in your onboards, and I'm like, wow, I've got the same setup. I could never do something like this. And
Yeah.
after your lap, just before your lap in the start of quali, I was thinking, will we see a 25 right now? And I didn't say that in the commentary, but I really thought, okay, so maybe Zach can pull this off. Maybe, just maybe, and you just did. So yeah, congratulations.
Cheers, thank you. Yeah, sliding the rear, it's kind of something that I've done, I'd guess, like even in real life racing, I'd always try and just back the rear in and just turn the car from the rear instead of the front, just for a little bit more rotation. But yeah, I'd probably do that the most. I forget the corner before the old straight there, and then also the corner after. Yeah, through there, I'd love to slide the rear there just to help rotate the car, and then put the power down, and then a few other corners. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's kind of just a style that I've stuck with for many years, and it's kind of transitioned into the sim racing world now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that 25, I wasn't too sure about that, because in practice last night I managed a 26.117 or something like that, and I was like, oh, you know, if we can do a 1 or a 2, like, that'd be good enough. And then yeah, just the last lap just hooked up, and yeah, managed to bang out that 25.9. So yeah, super stoked.
Perfect. Yeah. Looking at your results, like, keep on going with this driving style.
Yeah, yeah, it's something I'll stay with, I reckon, for a couple more seasons on league racing.
See, that's the real reason why Alex is here. He's just taking down notes, man. He's taking down all the notes.
Nah, he's got my setup and stuff that I race with, so nah, he'll be looking good for his race later on.
But I'm not surprised.
Hopefully.
You coming from a karting environment, you like a slidey rear end, so
yeah,
it's not too surprising.
Slidey all the way.
Final question, next week, Paul Ricard, thoughts?
Thoughts, I do love that track now, with the more downforce. It's been quite a joy to drive on the last couple games, so I reckon again, you'll probably see a train of 5-6 cars, but I don't know, it'll probably be interesting. I don't know if it favours the pad or wheel or 50-50, but looking forward to that one.
I imagine it'd be pretty close. I think it'd be pretty 50-50. I reckon qualifying will be quite close at Paul Ricard.
Oh, 100%. So, and it's another track that's super fun in quali, especially through turn 1, 2, then you know, down the hill there for 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah,
very
exactly.
Class.
So
very
there's a few tough corners that you can get invalid, so should be quite interesting, I reckon, next Tuesday.
But no, thank you to fellas for joining us here and answering a few questions. Unfortunately, I don't think... I'll double check, actually. Give me a minute. I might as well. I did receive a message. I'll double check what that is. Yeah, no. It's just a delayed notification because PlayStation's great. But yes, Fiery Hour... Seeing as you're not here, congrats on the second place finish. You were very fiery over the course of that race, I reckon. He didn't look like he was a happy chappy being stuck behind Spilly. He had pace, but he didn't have straight line speed, which proved to be the determining factor of why he was in fourth for so long. But he ends up finishing second provisionally, making it a Mercedes-Benz 1-2. But one final thank you, and that's to Mr. Alex Pato. Thank you very much for joining me here. It's awfully nice to have somebody to talk to in the commentary box, and especially of one of your caliber. It's always nice to have Mr. Loudmouth, me, and an actual half-decent, well, more than half-decent racing driver such as yourself. So, no, thank you very much for joining me.
No problem. Whenever you want.
And I suppose the final thank you goes to the folks watching at home. It's been a pleasure broadcasting this one. It was very entertaining. We had good bits here and here. We had drama and whatnot. It was just a really nice race. But I think with everything said and done, it's time to end the stream. Tune in throughout the week as there's still plenty of racing to come here on Race Spec Esports, but for Pacific Tier 1, we'll have to wait until next week. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator for tonight is Alex Pato. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you for round 5 of the championship at Circuit Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. Goodbye.